Hi guys, I'm Jason John Byron and I've got my special guest today,
Jeelen, hi all,
Jeelen.
how's it going?
So we thought we'd come to everyone out there in Facebook world and let you know a little bit about an experience that Jeelen's gone through. When I first got into property, I realized that the best way I could do it was go to a very good mentor with a long history of being able to do property from a profit point of view. So this isn't just get into a property and buy and hold, but do something to the property so that you eventually have enough money to have two things, have profits from your property, make it a bit of a career on the side, and then at the same time be able to acquire property at a lower value than what you would have had to do in the open market, and then be able to build up a portfolio every year. I was one of those people when I started out that I wasn't someone that would ever be happy with one property. I wanted that dream, that idea of having multiple properties and be able to use property to create a big chunk of cash as we went along. So my story is that I went along and I hooked up with a mentor. And then it would have been maybe, because I was with that mentor for about 8 years. And she's still my mentor, but obviously I'm not active as much with her anymore. But Jeelen, how long was your journey through mentorship? You know,
Since the end of 2011, that's like eight,
yep.
9 years, around that time.
And then what was your motivation to get into property? What was it? Do you remember the one thing? For me, it was just I didn't have any money.
Same as me, something like cash flow, money, get a job. That was the first thing in my head.
Yeah. And what was your biggest nerve? To me, it was like, but I don't have money, so I can't get into property. I don't have 100 grand. I don't have rich parents who are leaving me money, and I'm not a real estate agent, and I'm not that smart. Like, what was the thing for you?
I think it was, there's always like learning from, there's always a system in place. So it makes it easier when you're learning, when you're looking at things. Like it looks hard, but once you get in the system, it's a lot easier. So like obviously at that time I was looking at other people having their success stories. I'm like, hey, they can do it. I should be able to do it. So, and it just repeats. A lot of people keep coming up. I'm like, oh, okay, they were just average people. They were a single mom. They could do it. If they were the older people, they could do it. Those are young and they could do it. I'm like, oh, okay. So, Jason up there before. I'm like, oh, they started with nothing. They did it. I'm like, okay, this is a trend here. So just slowly learn my process. Don't go fast, and then you should be able to get into it. That was in my head.
Yeah. The biggest fear I had though was I don't have enough money to even get into property, so I'm not going to approach it. Like I don't have 100 grand saved up, that type of thing. That was the biggest fear that I thought was limiting me from being able to get into property. I mean, when you started, did you have $250,000 cash in the bank?
No, I don't know.
And this is the biggest thing. This is this myth, which is why I love bringing my students on to talk to people about it, to kind of clear that up, because there's this huge misconception, especially when you're doing property development, that you need a bag of money to start with. And it's just not true. What you need, what I think, what I know now, what I didn't know back then, was I needed the skills and education first. And it didn't actually cost that much to start to get into it. I didn't want to just read a book or something and pay 30 bucks for a book. I needed a person, a one-on-one connection with someone to follow their journey along. What would you say? So the biggest fear I had was money, was I don't have enough money to do that. What about what fear did you have?
Well, I had like $10,000 or $20,000. Obviously, I saved myself.
Yep.
But just probably scared of losing the money.
Losing it,
The
yeah.
fear of, I don't know what to buy. Like, is next door neighbor's house good or is it bad? Like the knowledge, I don't know what I'm getting. So his stories of there's people telling you, don't buy this because if you do that, then that guy lost all his money. In his story, so it's in your head. So you're like, yeah, just keeps in your head. So you don't know what you don't know. And then, that's one the fear that I had.
And so, look, I'm here and I'm hearing what you're saying, and I'm going on the same lines, because that's exactly it. You get so much choice. Well, hang on a second, which one is the right one? Which is like picking the right numbers, right? And the only way to get rid of that fear is to get some education behind it with someone that's done it before. But look, picking the right mentor, that is tough, isn't it? Because there are a lot of people out there, and it's pretty much the person that you hear about on the media the most, the person that the media is saying the expert, that isn't the expert. Would you agree?
That's it. There's never the one like that's a hot spot to buy somewhere. That's not
hotspot.
you don't go. That's place you don't
If
go.
you hear hotspot, what should you do?
Go away. The opposite.
Don't like do this. As soon as you hear hotspot, do this. Do you agree?
That's it. That's it. It's always like the news.
So let's practice with everyone out there now. Ready, Jeelen? Get your fingers ready. Hotspot. That's your first thing to turn off when you hear someone say hotspot. That means I know nothing. I'm sorry. I mean, people out there going to go, oh, come on, man, you know. But look, I've been doing this for 10 years. Jeelen's been doing it for a while. Not only our success stories, but we see a lot of other people out there. The media has to portray things like that because people love that word hotspot. People love the idea of thinking that when you've got a property portfolio and they're all really beautiful houses, you're successful. But that's just, and so that's where our perception comes in. But it's not, it's bullshit. Because if you've got a whole lot of really expensive houses and they're really big houses and you don't have cash flow and you're probably negative geared, and then eventually, I mean, if you get a good job, you can start paying them down, but that's just not approachable for the average person. But you can actually be more well off doing property things, whatever you want to do with it, by actually not having the beautiful houses, but just by having very sensible houses with cash flow, right?
That's it. That's it. You want cash flow and not the pretty houses. Most of the time, the uglier ones generate a lot of cash flow.
And the ugly, like I would rather see, this is when people talk to me about wholesale real estate, and that's what I teach. I mean, you're one of my students, so you understand the idea. And one of the things I say is I want to teach people how to be retailers. So to be a retailer, we've got to know what to deliver people that beautiful property, but we can't be buying that beautiful property. We've got to buy the ugliest property, and we've got to know how to buy it at wholesale price. So that means we've got to know what the agent is telling us to negotiate down, or we've got to know something that we can actually buy at wholesale price. And that isn't going to be the one that the typical people that are just ready to buy a turnkey property, even though I would say 90, maybe even 95% of investors out there are looking for the turnkey property, the beautiful property.
It's easy. Yep.
And you and I are looking for opportunity to increase the value. So that means we're looking for stuff that is run down or something. We don't even look for the houses really. Most of the time, we just prefer to get the worst possible house that we can just push over so we can build 2 brand new ones, right?
That's it. That's it.
I mean, that's the idea there. Now, that gives us a very unique opportunity to not compete, because who we compete, we're competing against people who want the brand new turnkey, this is 5% yield property or whatever, you know.
Guaranteed rent.
Yeah, so it's hard for people who are first getting into property to kind of understand that, because they're like, oh, are you going to renovate or something? Well, renovating will never get us that equity uplift as much, because it just takes our time away. And we should really, at the beginning, be having our job and be looking for something that gives us minimum amount of time so we can still get the income in. So I think that's an interesting journey that I kind of realized that I didn't have to buy the perfect property off a real estate agent. I had to buy something that I could add value to. Would you agree?
That's it. That's adding value, how much you can manufacture.
Yeah. And we started off with the same mentor, Dipna, and she taught us about asset protection. And she taught us that you didn't have to pay down every property, that you could just do interest-only loans, right? Yeah. And then I went down the path of always developing my properties. And I just became so passionate about it. And I was like, this is a system that I want to do. And I was 100% focused on that. So eventually, if people don't know my history, but my very first property was a subdivision, and then put another house on it and then increased the value, right? So it was my first one that I did. And ever since then, for the next 5 years, I just kept perfecting a system. And now people come to me because they want to see what my system is, right? What attracted you to me other than the good looks?
Well, I think it's the easy system that's in place. So it's like a procedure in place. Like, not even what workplace. Every workplace has their own procedure. You're just following the one that has been provided that works. So A to B, do that, and B to C, do that, and just small steps, and you go towards building and developing. It's not as hard as what people think it is. It's actually a lot less time you spend on it.
So, imagine how hard it would be if you didn't have a system or some education. I mean, how many mistakes would have you made? Because even now, I look at stuff and I go, wow, you know, if I just did that, bought that, it's always comes to the buying. Would you agree? If you didn't have this education, you would have overpaid for something, or you would have thought something cost something and it would have been more, right?
Yes, or you listen to people say, "Oh, you can build apartments up here and stuff," and then I'm like, "No, there's setback and stuff. You can't do that." Like, yeah, or you won't make money. So yeah,
Yeah.
people doing that, and then so
It's a pretty cool state. I mean, you're a property developer now because, you know, you've been developing properties. I'm a property developer. We don't actually do, even though I've had probably a bigger portfolio and a bit more experience on it, doesn't take you a long amount of time to take my strategies on and my system, make it your own, and then just go with it. Does it?
Yeah. No, it doesn't take much. No, just step by step, and it could be any area. It doesn't have to be this specific city. It could be the whole Australia.
And people say to me, yeah, and that's the whole thing. Anywhere in the world, I could put you somewhere. You could use a target analysis to find out where people are buying the product. Then you'd know the right steps to go to the councils and find out the zoning, PTR, one of the things that we train you on. And you could probably do it, right?
Yeah, providing that the country is safe or something. Yes.
Well, without getting shot, of course, Jenna. Yes. We don't want to get shot. but this is the whole thing with property development. People are like, can you do it anywhere? Or I'm in this state. And there's always going to be demand, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So
any state, you can do any state.
Yeah. Okay, so I was just seeing if there's any comments coming through now and here. I don't know. I'm going from Zoom to Facebook. But this is the whole thing. Wow. Don't turn the volume up there. Okay, so we've got a few people watching at the moment here. If you've got any questions, guys, got my Facebook on here now, so on my phone. So if you've got any questions, I can look to there. So what we're going to do now is go through a little bit of a story and show one of your latest projects. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to put something in the background on my Zoom here because I'm on a green screen. Let's start off with this here. So if I go over here, how cool is that? Okay, I'm like walking up the door. I'm like outside the front of the property. Let's see. I'm just going to position myself a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so this is one of the deals. This is after you've done the work, right? So this wasn't what it looked like before. If I click here, we should see that's what you bought there.
Yes.
Yep. So you like this block because you obviously saw the potential in the back there. I mean, there's a bit of training that goes on before, so you can analyze it to work out if this works for you or not. And this is part of my training that I do. So let me move out of here a little bit. So this is pretty cool. I'm trying to work this out. So right there, you see there's a property there, but all the way up here is the McDonald's there, right?
Shops, yeah, the shops.
The shops. And so
Stockland's there, yeah. Stockies.
There we go. That's better. So, I mean, this is one of the targeting thing is one of the things that I teach people. And I think it's undervalued a lot. I think a lot of people go out there trying to look for something that they can develop instead of trying to find a system that's always worked. I'm giving away a few of my secrets here, but what the hell? And I say to people, look, let's use a target analysis formula. And this is only one of them, right? There's, what do I have? Like 8 or 9 of them specifically. And so that you don't lose money. And what that means is to go somewhere where people want you, right? So with this particular strategy, can you explain about where this is in relation to the shops? And what brought you to this location? How did you kind of work this out?
Yeah, it's around 800 meters to the shops, which is, there's Aldi there, there's Coles.
So why is that good?
Because people that, anything you build, people want to live near where the shops are.
Because you're not building when you do townhouses, because what we're going to show you in a sec, guys, I know I've kind of haven't told you what's going to unveil here, but he's got one house at the front and a duplex at the back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when people, when you got to spot demand for people, especially when they're kind of getting into smaller things like a duplex or townhouses, what does that tell you about that person? That they want convenience, right? And so those two things go together, don't they?
definitely, yes.
where if you're doing this development and you were 10 Ks away from the McDonald's, right? And there was no shops around there, the chances of a townhouse or a smaller type of dwelling working diminish a lot. True?
That's the location. Yeah, definitely, yes.
And
It
I
matters a
don't,
lot.
and even though that's my target strategy that I kind of work on to work out value in that, and it's not 100%. We've got 8 other targets we've got to put in there, but the main thing is that what we understand by this is that when we go to an area, I'll tell my students that I don't want you working anywhere unless you use the PTR strategies to work out whether you might think it might work there, but then your second step is to work out what PTR. What does that mean?
Yes, definitely, yes. PTR is the main thing. Like it's a fundamental of everything we do.
So people don't know what PTR is. So explain to them what did you have to find out first in this particular area where you had to find out?
Proven track record.
Proven track record.
But
Okay.
basically, yeah, what other people have done in around the area, in the location, and
So if you started, have other people in this area done smaller, like townhouses or duplexes?
yes, they all have done it, similar to what I've done, and some a little bit bigger, but they've all done it. Yes.
Yeah. So that gives you some confidence straight up, right?
Yes, definitely, yes.
Yeah. So that's an analysis process that I go through. It's only one of them. And it's not always just because I'm showing you just one of the strategies here, and we've got probably 15 that we use. I just want to show you an example here of where you can take some of your risk out in development if you do use some targeting. Now, just because it is close to there doesn't mean necessarily going to work, because then you've got to put overlays of cost analysis and work out whether that's the right property. So there's that there. We look at it here. There's a particular property there at the front. We had a house and we had plenty of room, and we already had this beautiful driveway down the side, right? Is that a good bonus?
I thought it was good.
Mm. And the church next door, that's a good thing too. There's a good energy about churches, right?
Yeah, polished church.
Yeah. So that's good. Now, so you can see that there's a house at the front there, and then we've got this opportunity to build out the back. I don't know if anyone should be able to hear me. Let me move my mic over here a bit. There we go. So that was the actual house at the front, and this is a split type of thing. So you renovated the house, right?
Yes, cosmetically. So only painted. Basically, what you see is cosmetic or painted. And so clean the grass up. Yeah, clean the deck up. Yeah, or roof.
And we got 2 little tigers there at the front, do we?
Yes, we kept it. It wasn't ours on there already. We just skirting it.
Little tigers. Or lions, are they? What were they? Lions. They're little lions.
Lions, I think. Lions.
Which is a good thing in the area. People like those type of things in this particular area. So there's the house at the front. So your mission here is to split the title, so to keep the house at the front, renovate it, and sell it off to pay down some of the debt. Is that right?
Yes, that's it. Yeah, we'll stage the best.
First rule of a developer is pay down debt, right?
Not
Well,
really.
so this is what I say to people, that you've got a total figure of everything that it costs, and you've got to borrow the money from the bank, and then you've got to have a look at how much do you have to pay back the bank debt, and then have the profit on top of it.
Definitely, yes. Yes.
So when I build 4 townhouses, my mission is to know what my debt margin is going to be. So if the debt margin will be the 3 townhouses, once I've sold off the 3 townhouses, then everything left from there is debt free.
Yes, basically, yes.
So that's how we kind of work it. But we've got to know the feasibility, right, to be able to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
So there's the one at the front. So you get that. You went a bit slow on this, which is fine. You still made money out of this. 100 grand's no problem out of this. You probably, if you went faster, could have done more. But you had other stuff going on in your life, so it's fine. But you still secured in the right area. You would always have demand. The market can move left and right. It doesn't matter. Like you can't control the market 100%, you know. So what this means, though, is you can control your risk in the market. So by buying this and cutting it up, you have one house at the front, separate that off, and then you've got the block of land at the back that you can develop, right?
Yes.
So that's what we did with this one here. And the beautiful thing is that this comparable block of land to other blocks of land was better because you had a driveway down the side. You've almost ready to go.
Yeah, there's 2 driveways. So there's the left-hand side and right.
Oh, yes.
That's what it broke. Yeah.
That's great. And then you built this out the back. So this is a duplex. There we go. Move out of here again. So there's a duplex that you built there.
Yes.
And that was out the back there. So from this point of view, you've got some options too, where you could move this mic a bit. So with this type of approach, it's pretty cool as a developer because you can get to the end and you can produce a product like, say, one of those duplex, or one side of a duplex that you didn't pay market value for.
No, we don't know.
So this is a whole thing. And this is what I like about it. I can learn how to do these skills. And at the end of the day, save myself 20, 30, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Because what can happen is that I could have got that whole one debt free, or at least saved 100, 200,000 on it, so I can get it revalued and pull the money out of that. But that's why we do this, guys. Anyone out there is wondering what a developer does. We look at ways to be able to produce something, to be able to not pay what the market paid for it, but still get a big chunk of cash out of that. Now, if something changed in my life and I want to sell it all, then I can walk away with 100, 200 grand cash and do something with it. But it doesn't actually force me to do that. I can actually keep that, not kind of sell it, but then pull some more money out of that. And then we overlay the strategies with high income strategies, right?
Yes, yes.
Which you're pretty good at. So your whole family's good at that. So this is the whole thing to know not only how do you retain a property, but how do you get maximum cash flow on it. So let's have a look a bit through this. So that's pretty good. You got the double garages there, is it, or the singles?
The double. Smaller double than the doubles, yeah.
Yeah, and that's important, right? You've got to know that market. People love having the double garages, especially if you've got in this area. What would you say demographic? Is there family around here, or what is it?
Yeah, majority of families. So probably like 40, 50, 60% family. Yeah. So they're pretty big family-based people. People surrounding us are all families.
And the whole idea with these new products is that they can have all the luxuries of a brand new product, but not pay for it. And so they could have a choice here of having a house on maybe a bigger block of land that it's all run down, or else they can have a beautiful house on a smaller block of land that will still get a good income of rent and have all the luxuries of a nice place.
Yes. It's all new. Everything's brand new. They love it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I say to people. You're actually a retailer. You're selling a beautiful finished product there that people will buy. So that's pretty cool. So let's look inside here. So I'm going to show people a bit around. There's your kitchen there.
Yes. Yep.
So, and I mean, one of the points that I kind of enforce on people is to get multiple quotes, as you know, but also to look at this as a profit margin game, so that you're not scared to get multiple quotes or to negotiate with a builder to find out what costs more or costs less, because the whole idea is that you've got to always be thinking about that, right? Is there any tips that you've got for people out there about that analysis?
I think it's just get a lot of quotes, and don't be worried or scared about what they think of you. I mean, if they don't like you, then lucky you're not getting a quote for them, because they're probably not good to work with. Mm-hmm. And just get a few quotes. At the end of the day, it's business. It's not emotional. It's business.
Great.
It's a numbers game. If it works, if it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's not there. Numbers won't work. Mm-hmm. So don't get emotional. Get quotes. So it will work out.
So tell us about what materials you've got here in the kitchen. Is that a stone benchtop or a laminate?
Stone benchtop, 20 mil. Yeah, stone benchtop.
20 mil. Yeah. Why not 40 mil?
Not for this area. No, it's too expensive. Like it's too much for this area. This is lower end, so people won't pay that extra money that you put in.
And this is the type of things that you learn. Like, but it would look better if it was 40 mil.
Yeah, like if I lived that personally, emotionally, my wife, I will say no to it.
But what will make a difference is maybe that double garage a lot more than that little bit there. So we have to save money in certain places, because it will all end up with our end profit value, right? The profit margin of how much we're going to be making on the property. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
And that's always got to be, and that will come down. Our profit margin comes down to the amount of time we hold it for as well, right?
Definitely. Yes.
Always ticking ahead. So if you can use a system, and I teach everyone very much system-based to hold yourself accountable, hold yourself in time frame, then just that alone will save you money, right?
Yes, definitely. The step-by-step process, you're never lost. So you know next step, we're going to go, it's very clear. And
you'll hold other people accountable as well, like all the people working around you. you know?
Yes, yeah. Like where you do your normal job, you're just gonna ask them when's the deadline, when's this gonna be done, so everyone's accountable.
Yeah. And they understand that you're a business.
Yes, that's
That
it.
that
And yes,
yeah.
and they're your client, and yeah, they need you to like get because that's their business, and this is my business. Is both a business side, so they understand where you're coming from.
And you can negotiate prices down because it's just not a one-off product. So you can say, hey, I'm trying to form a business here with people, you know, so I need to make money. So tell me, where can we make some cost saving? What about that flooring? What's that flooring there?
It's vinyl floor. Vinyl it
Vinyl.
looks nice.
Oh,
It's nice. Yeah.
I actually really like that. One of the gyms I go to has a vinyl floor with the stuff printed on it there. And again, that comes down to the costing of it, you know. So if you did full wood, that's a lot of square meterage of product. And in this particular area, it will still work, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and I mean, with flooring especially, like if someone really didn't like it, this is something you could actually change quite quickly, you know. So for someone there, and upstairs you have what, carpet?
Carpet. Yeah, we kept the carpet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Much cheaper
Okay.
that way.
Yeah, cool. Is there anything else in this picture here you want to point out was a saving at all? Or I mean, the kitchen's, is that laminate or is it 2-pack? What is it?
It's laminated.
Just laminate.
Typical. Yeah, typical. Whatever's on in the market, I look at the order competitors, what they're doing. Sometimes that's up at just one step better than them, and then or the same thing. So my one looks a bit better.
Yeah, cool. And then all that furnishing there, why did you put that in? Why not just leave the whole place empty?
That's what all my competitors did. I style the studio so that someone goes in and style everything. It looks nice. So some people don't have imagination or they can't see stuff. We have the furniture that they can see themselves in there. Oh, I can eat my food there, and then while my wife's cooking or something, and then they see kids eating there, so it gets them emotional. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's really good styling.
Great, important point. And even with the roof there, like the eaves there at the top from the ceiling, the cornices and everything like that, you can do something called square, you know, like square it off so there is no corners, but it's actually cheaper to put the cornice on. And if all your competitors are doing it as well, or we don't say competitors, but there's no such thing as a competitor in this market. Wouldn't you agree? Like, I suppose we say that word so people understand what we're talking about. So I probably a better word is comparables, right? Even though there's other people out there doing the same thing, you're never really competing too much in this industry because the percentage of people you're competing against is so small, and it's more about your ability to deliver value equivalent to their ability to deliver value, right?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
That's how I like to think about it. Well, if someone, oh, I don't know what this person's doing, what that person's doing, I'm saying, well, what is your price point and what value are you giving people for that? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Okay, so we'll move on to a few other shots here. Here's the bedroom there. Again, I save a lot of money on windows, so I'll try to save every cent I can on the windows. The white here is good; it blends in really nice. You put blinds in here. Sometimes people don't put the blinds in straight away, but I think it gives that edge there of difference, so that's really good. Get the fan in there, which is important. People still like fans, but you've got to save on windows, right? Don't go too crazy on windows. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it was too big. Looks nice. Open skylight, everything. Yeah, it looks nice. Not nice for your feasibility.
Yeah, exactly. So one thing that I learned very quickly was two things that I've got to watch my money on. And that was windows, not going too crazy on windows because they do cost money. And then the second one was square meterage, right?
Oh yes.
This is the biggest mistake that people make when they kind of just guess it or when they take the wrong advice, is they just make things just too big square meterage, because even 5 or 10 square meterage makes a lot of difference to your profit margin, right?
You multiply by how many you're building, and that adds up. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's the best advice I can give to someone. Like, my house is 340 square meters that I'm in at the moment. And the neighbors is 400 square meters. And immediately I know, yes, you're going, shit, there's 100 grand gone, you know? So, but my house is worth more.
Yeah. Because you're living in it.
My design, right? And this is where it comes back to. So this is where you make a lot of your money. Then when we're not saying you have to make it super as small as you can, that's not the aim. But the aim is don't waste a square meter anywhere.
Make it efficient. Use your space wisely so it looks nice and big.
Yeah. Okay. So there's the other bedroom there. So you can see, but that's quite nice view out of there, looking over the house there and a bit of bush there, which is nice. Bathroom. This is pretty cool. I like your bathroom. This is pretty good. We need the bit bath because people have kids, right?
Yes, yes, always bath. If it's a family home, you need a bathtub.
Yeah.
It's a
And
big
still
one.
you haven't gone crazy on the shower there. It's just a pre-fit shower there, which is good.
Yes, yes,
Still looks good. So some people say, oh, we need this, we need that. No, it's beautiful just like that. That's fine. Don't overkill it. That's all good. And your tiles haven't gone right up to to the
no,
roof because they didn't need to, right?
no, not in this area. No, some people do it, but no, yeah, we didn't do it because we made a nicer tap and then the wall hung vanity, so it looked
Ah.
nice. Yeah, yeah.
So instead of you putting the tiles right up, you
Mm.
save money by going this. But this it's almost like I feel like I'm talking to myself here because this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
exactly what I do. If I say, okay, what would be actually quite sexy to have a sexier tap and then save more on the tiles, and that will because it's their focus, what they focus on, right?
definitely. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so there's another shot of the bathroom there, so it's pretty cool. And then this is the backyard, which is really cool, right? And you had a bit of
Yeah.
retaining wall in there. So you've got to be really smart looking at properties from retaining wall sides, right?
Yes, definitely learn a lot from that. Yes.
Yeah. And the grass, that looks pretty good, man. I really like that. Is there any journeys that you've had through this? What were your learning experiences? Because you're always going to learn something. I mean, that's
Mhm.
how you improve, right?
Yeah. So the first thing is PTR, proven track record. That's very, very important. Square meters. I could have made it probably a little bit smaller. And I did calculate in my head. Oh my god, I left something on the table. I'm like, oh, I could have done a little bit more. Making things look nice but not expensive. They look very nice. Yeah, and integrity. Keep everything honest. Don't cut corners. Do everything all correctly to the books. And yeah, just helping the next person, like people buying, make sure they have a nice house they can enjoy and not something that's a lot of problems. Yeah, that's something that all came into my head.
I think through some of the experiences I tell people through what I've gone through, it gives them a bit of confidence that there, as a developer, it's almost like you're just managing like a restaurant or a company or something, right? It can be to people they think it's a scary experience, but it's no scarier than going to work every day and then having something not turn up on time and you have to chase it down, right?
Yes, yeah, same thing. Same
So
as yeah, same as anyone's job, right? They always have challenges come up and just solve it and then just move on.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think if you had gone into it raw without following any particular guidance or haven't picking the wrong team or just picking the wrong area, then things would really get to you. It would lead you to a point that you'd be like suffering because the stress would just be an overload. And if you then I know that you're part of my community, which is a really big community, and that's great to be able to go to them as well, isn't it? People
Yes,
going through
yes,
the same experience.
definitely. Like there's a good
Made a
community,
big
really
difference for
good.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always give feedback, what you can do, yeah, what the other person's doing. So it's basically helping each other out would be very, very handy, very helpful to have.
Yeah. And I think that the more you can start to learn an approach where you're following almost like a set of rules every time you do something, the better off you're going to be. And I had to learn that when I first started out. And I suppose the way that I decided to teach people was to get them to copy my rules. And then if someone wants to do something different, then I kind of am a bit harsh and go, well, you can do what you want there, but are you really stepping outside? Because there are rules to developing, right? Anything.
Yes, yes.
And it pretty much comes down to, well, are you treating this like a business? Do you want to make money out of this? And if you want to make money out of this, then you've got to have some type of set of rules that you hold yourself accountable for, that you can hold other people accountable for. This is even with the builder, if they have to show up on time, or even an architect. Like I can remember when we first started out, there was an architect, this is like on our second job, that just wasn't getting things done quick enough. And they're giving us excuses and that. And I basically just went into the office there and said, look, this is a project. I'm looking to get ahead with this particular job so I can move on to another job. You're supposed to have this on this day here. We don't have it. Yes, it's delaying me. So I just had to put my foot down, and I didn't do it in an angry sense. I
Mhm.
made them just understand that. And then I just chased them up every week and I got the job done, right? And that's only because I didn't allow myself to wait for them. A lot of times people are people do get taken advantage of in the building industry. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely. I've seen a lot of them. Yeah, some people that they initially when you first engage them, they don't know you, so they don't put you on the priority list.
Yeah.
But once you start talking to them, get to know them, and be onto it, so take responsibility. So when something doesn't go out right, it's up to you. You're the business owner. You're the one that are running the whole company, and you should be the one chasing it up and getting things all done. So yeah, that's something I found very important, and to take action as well and take responsibility.
And I think a lot of it in the building process too, when you treat it like a business, is that you're getting stuff verified. So if that guy says, "Oh, that grass there is going to be $20 a square meter" or something like that, then you don't let you get them to sign off on it or make sure that that's right. So that at the end of the day, when they go, "Look, it was 35 or something," you can say, "Well, no, this is a business, man. This is what we agreed on here, and this grass needs to be in on a Wednesday to get it going." So with a builder, in this, when you're taking it from a profit margin point of view, you've got to give them push, right?
Yes,
And
yes,
it's a respectable one. But
yes, yes.
the easiest way to do that is by have a regular meeting, right? To say, this is what we're up to on my timeline. True?
Yes, definitely. There's a timeline, there's a progress, how far you're going to go, at what time this goes in. When this goes in, you get your next payment. Or yeah, so they're all stages. And then if they try to push you, then you don't do it because yeah, you just say that you can't. It's business. You're your business. I have a business. So yeah, it's just black and white for them because it's just yeah.
And I
If you
think,
do well, then we can do repeat business.
and the way you're going to find that perfect builder is by interviewing them exactly with that process, and by interviewing their clients by saying, "Show me your last clients," and then you ask them those questions, right? The
Yes.
first question that I asked is, "Were there any delays?"
Mm-hmm.
With that build about that you just used that I'm thinking of building. Were there any delays? So I can kind of work out what the delay was. And that's fine because there are always going to be delays. Would you agree?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yes. Uncontrollable ones, yeah, not in their
Yeah.
control. Yeah.
So controllable delays, not uncontrollable. Yeah, exactly. So that's a whole thing, because there will be rain, or there'll be a product not turn up on time, or something will need to be fixed or moved around that. So that's fair enough. The second thing I'll ask is, were there any other costs that that weren't told to you? So that this is my interview process with my builder, and I have a whole big long checklist that I give people, because it's important that you go through these things so that you can then work out which builder is going to be more efficient with you or which one's not. True?
Yes, definitely. And you can probably see what they're currently doing as well, and their finished products that they already created for their other clients, and you can see how everything went for them. Ask them, and then yeah, you get a lot of details even from the agent. How did it all go? Did they finish on time? Did your marketing go on time? Yeah, so from that's basically same as PTR. So you learn from what our comparables are, and then you get the builders. Talk to them.
Yeah. And so this one here, I'm looking at it now. There's your garage there. You've got a bedroom downstairs with an ensuite, which is really good in these areas to have a separate area there, probably for mum or dad or someone, or even the parents could be there. And then upstairs, you've got bedrooms, so 4 bedrooms upstairs. It's a really good, efficient plan. Actually, I really like this plan. I might have to use it myself, actually, because I love the idea of that. Of just extending the garage out a little bit there. And then that bit at the bottom there that bedroom can be used multi-purpose in lots of different ways too. It could even be an Airbnb because you've got that little...
And the ensuite there as well. It's really handy having an ensuite there. They have their own privacy, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this shot here. All right, there we go. All right, Jeelen. So I'm just seeing if there's any questions here from anyone here. Mainly just, it looks good. Thanks for sharing your experiences and your do's and don'ts. Learning a lot along the way to become a property developer. So what do we want to do now? We want to talk to people a bit about, I know when I did my first project and I finished it off, and this was wasn't even a build, it was a lift and shift something onto a block of land, another house. And I finished it off, and I went back to the bank, and the value was now 70,000, and I had cash flow of about $10,000 a year, positive cash flow coming in from 2 properties. And it's just was something about that confidence I could have just gone out and bought a house for 90,000 and rented it for $120 a week or something. This is what I did in the country. I started off with very little money, but now obviously that's changed a lot. But there was something about owning a property, not only owning it, but by within a year's time, I walked away with $70,000 more value for the property. I had 2 properties. This is just my first deal. And I had cash flow coming in. And the most amazing thing is I said to Amy, my partner has been on this journey with me. A lot of people know Amy. Is Amy, why don't I have to keep giving the bank money every week? Isn't that the way it works? And she's like, no, the tenants give us more money than we owe the bank because we're on interest only loans. So you're telling me, obviously we've got to pay bills and those type of things, and that's fine. But it was just a funny experience. And I was like, so we actually own property now, but we don't, and it's going to go up in value, but we don't actually have to pay the bank. That whole interest only thing only really makes sense once you have secured it, right? Once you're doing it.
Yes, once you start doing it and you start seeing, oh, there's money coming in more than that. And then you see your bank account, there's leftover money. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah, so cash flow. I love that.
It's actually pretty hard to get that positive cash flow if you're not developing something because you're paying retail price, right?
Yeah, definitely. There's much I don't know. It's really hard, really hard. Unless you have a lot of cash, you buy cash. But if not, then yeah, when you're building, you're selling at a wholesale price, or even keeping one wholesale price. You got a little profit left in there, and your debt's a lot lower. So you can do creative strategies, and then like Airbnb, however you want it, and get more cash flow from it. So
I think I know another example of one that I did, that we did 5 townhouses, paid off, all the debt was paid off by the 4, and we had one left. And we're like, hang on, we've paid all the debt. And so that one, we don't actually have any debt on it. And it was just an amazing feeling to get to where I'd achieved like in 2 years a debt-free property. But again, wind it back. How did that happen? It was all through the process of knowing how to do that, right?
Yeah.
Now, another good thing for us to talk about right now is about the skills that we've developed. So a lot of people think that if you're going to do a course and you're going to get into property development, that you're going to need a lot of money. And I bring this creative concept of joint venture partners. And I keep telling people that it's no different from like a Shark Tank episode where you walk in there and you go, hey, this is the product that I've got here. This is a duplex. This is it there. This is our cash outlay of what I'm looking for people to inject the cash in. And this would be the return on the cash. So, and then you've got to prove to them your skills. So you've got to show them all your people and your team and everything like that. And people will fund your whole development for you with their money. Now, they don't want to develop it, but they want to partner with you on that because what they're looking for is a return. And they like property. And so now that you've developed the skills on this very first one, could you just go and do more of these in the same suburb or other suburbs, but propose a joint venture to an investor, proving to them that you wouldn't put any money in, but you put the skills in and split the profits? Tell me a bit about that. I want people to hear about that type of thing.
Yeah, definitely you can. It's just the same process again. Bigger or small development, the process is pretty much the same thing. And along the same thing, you know the process, you've been through it once, you have the experience, and you give them confidence. And yeah, it's a lot easier once you have the proven track record and also the procedures and the steps in place. It's actually pretty easy.
You have some confidence now, right? So
Yes,
before,
definitely.
I mean, on your first one, it might feel a bit strange and daunting in that, but once you finish it, you can pretty much just be doing this for the rest of your life if you wanted to, because you can be doing one for yourself, which is what I always do, one for myself, and I can be doing 2 or 3 very similar in the same area for other people. Because not everyone wants to do this or has the time to do it. But there are people out there with equity that are happy to go along with someone that can prove it to them. Now, the one thing the biggest mistakes I see with people that get too excited is they do too many at once and can't manage it.
Overextend, yeah.
They overextend too much, or they take too many risks, or they break the rules.
Yes.
I heard something the other day where someone said, oh, I didn't get a valuation before I settled. So I was just thinking the valuation would be fine. Immediately you're going, hang on a second. You kind of need that first. And I'm not saying that there's a strict rule that you have to do it that way, but that's when you're going to have stress come in. And
Yeah.
some people can manage that stress amazingly. And, you know, it's a bit of a cowboy way, but sometimes, hey, that's just the way they do things. And they're able to pull in money from here and there and do stuff. And, you know, congratulations to them for that. But it's actually a lot less stress-free if you just do it by the rules, right?
Yes, follow the rules. And it's always proven rules, just follow it. It's
Yeah.
really easy.
And so, and I'm that type of guy. There's other people that are more risk averse and will want to kind of push the margin more. And there are people like that, and that's fine. But that's not everyone. And not everyone has the ability to take on that stress. But something like here, what you've done exactly now, what I like about it is you made money, number one. But number two, it's because you're increasing the value of something, it's hard for you to lose money on this if you're doing it very strict by the book, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
you've got a pretty good, even though your profit margin can change, at least you're doing it to a point that the profit is enough. So you're taking a bit of that scared away of, oh, you know, so we don't need to be making like 50 grand profit. We really need to be looking at 150 to 200 grand. So that if it shifts, we can go back, right?
That's it. Yes, yes.
Profit margin. Anything else you want to share with people about this experience? It's just, I really like bringing my students on to kind of encourage other people out there to say, what about education? You know, how would that change your life? So just personally for yourself, because like, you know, I see you as a pretty average guy. You know, you're not wearing the suit or anything like that. You're not like the doctor or, you know, the guy walking around with a whole lot of money and that type of stuff. Even though you're profitable now. But I think a lot of people will stop themselves thinking that this is possible to do this, you know. So how do we get through that first layer?
Well, I guess is just let it be. Like when you learn from education, learn from them and just follow it. Don't think dawdle to them, oh, is it too hard, too easy? Just give a crack. Just give it a go.
Mm.
Yeah, you never know where it takes you. And ultimately now it gives you time for my family, which I cherish gratefully. Like spend time with my son, 6 months old. I love it. Every day I go to see him. I love my own hours. Something that it's priceless to me that right now. So thank you, Jason.
Yeah, pleasure. It gives me pleasure seeing this. Like some people say to me, well, if I'm doing so well, why am I coaching people? You know, why do I need to do that? I'm like, well, I look at the top priorities of my life, and family's another one too. But I'll look at my own, like I'll finish a project off and you'll be like this too. You do like so many of them and you're kind of like, oh yeah, I did well on that. That's a profit margin. That's good. Okay, good. I know I should get excited about it more, but I'm more excited about seeing this because it's like, oh, this is cool. Someone is using, this has been passed on and someone's using this skill now, which is cool. And I don't have to teach you anything more. You could just run with this. We'll always stay communicated and and it kind of encourages you now to help other people too, like I helped you, right?
Yes. So what you said was after doing the development, I was very excited, it was all good, ticking off the list. But then I'm like, I need to give back. I need to help someone else as well. So So something I told Jason, let's do a Zoom meeting. So I'm happy to do it. It's more fulfilling. So if it was me a few years ago seeing this, I'll be like, oh my God, I want to do that. That looks really good. And it's not hard. It's just seriously not hard at all. Just follow the procedure. There's a lot of hard work. Doesn't mean that there's no work. There's a lot of hard work. But once you get there, it's actually not as hard as you thought it was. Yeah. So.
And it's rewarding at the end of the day. You feel like you've got something for life now, right?
Yes.
That you can always bend back on. The strangest feeling I had, here you go. So let's go, the difference in your life now, right? The different strangest thing that I have is for 20 years, I used to wake up, go to work sometimes past 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock and then come home. And I'm one of those people that can work. You put me to work, bang, I'm like a workhorse. I'll do it, you know. But there's just was this emptiness of this reward to it. And I thought, I'm getting all stressed. I'm handling the stress. And it was kind of good to be put through a stressful job. Like I do it. But then there's this opposite side that I felt proud that I was able to take on that responsibility. But then this opposite side of what I have to show for it. You know, now what I do, like I wake up in the morning and I'll get outside and I'll go for a walk while I see all these other cars of people driving off to work or rushing to work. And I think, what did I do? Why do I deserve this life? Like, and that person has to do that, or hear other people's lives. And So my only way to give back to that was by saying, okay, I'm going to make some profit. I'm going to do the best I can. And then personally, without even asking people to give me recognition for it, I'll use some of my profits quietly to help other people out there in a third world country most of the time, you know. So that's the experience. I feel funny that I don't go to work. And even being in this isolation thing now when no one else is working, I'm like, hey, you could do this every day.
I think every day.
Yeah, but then you could actually go to the shops as well, right?
I think that's it.
So what about yourself? What has been the change as you go back and think the old life that you had then? What has been the biggest thing that you're kind of a bit shocked by what you can do now?
For me, first thing was no more corporate ladder. So I was working corporate, and everyone in there was trying to get higher. There's a lot of stress. Everything's being rushed to go work. Everything's go, go, go. Yeah, it was tough. And once I learned all these strategies, I'm like, hold on, I'll just do it on a side. Don't quit my job yet. Get comfortable. So you just try on a side first. Buy a small one. See how everything goes. Don't go too big. You want small, just build a house behind a duplex. Keep it simple. And after you learn the first one, you're like, okay, I get how things goes. And you build more confidence. So you're like, and then once you start getting profit coming in, the work doesn't look attractive no more. You're like, hold on, I'm working how many hours and I'm getting this? You're like, hold on, development's so much easier. If you add them up, I didn't spend that much time. I didn't spend like 8 hours a day, full time doing this every day for 5 or 6 days. It wasn't that many. I should email to the professionals. They do it to you, and then like you don't hear from them for a few days, and they send the completed stuff. Like, whoa, it's all done. But if you're working in corporate, you're like you're actually doing the work, and the client's actually doing that to you. They are leveraging off you.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool because you're employing people. You're part of a community here. There's this whole thing too. People think that there's another side of it. Like I was brought up a Christian, and so those morals are still in me today. And I find a lot of other people are kind of like, oh, well, to have lots of money is greedy. You know, there's that whole thing that you hear all this type of these beliefs out there. People say, oh yeah, if you have too much money or you're a property developer or something like that, you must be greedy, you know, this type of thing. And if you're a bad person and you're not a nice person, you have money, you're not going to be nice. With more money, you know, you're probably going to use it for evil type of thing. But if you generally have good morals and you're a good person and you are actually securing your life and making more money, or just having a better lifestyle and making more money, you're actually going to do good with that money, right?
Yes. You can give back more as well.
Yeah.
You can help others in need. Yes, because your own needs are already met, so you can help other people so much more easily. And give back, and you will see their gratitude as well. So it's something that I love.
And look, another thing that I get a little bit, and how do I approach this? I have a lot of people say, oh, Jeelen or Jason, you know, you've done this on your next project. Can I just tag along and just watch everything you do? And maybe I could learn from that. And that's how you could really help me out, right? And in a sense, it's almost like you could say, yeah, I could do that. But it's almost, I put it in this analogy of, well, if I was a doctor and you just watched everything I did as a doctor without the training, would you really be able to do what I do? So it's pretty much that it doesn't kind of work like that when you're doing this type of stuff. The best way is the education first.
Yes.
And then so that you aren't asking so many questions, but you're more seeing that education in reality about how those steps were achieved, right? So, and especially if you JV with someone else, then they know that why you're doing things and how you're doing it. So it's a better way to do it. So when I have people I'm talking to, you know, say, oh, if I hang out with you a week, maybe I could learn something. I'm like, well, you could see things, but it's still not going to be a way that you could get forward. You really, it's almost like we have the course that we run, but it's almost like a degree for you to understand a process, right?
Yes.
So when you have other people that that you now talk to within the community, they understand why you're doing things and why you're not doing things, right?
Yes. So the people in community will, so you give each other feedbacks, and then you start knowing that why they're doing that. So it's a like-minded community. Is very good.
Yeah. When I first started out too, like I had to learn this like anyone else, and now I teach other people. But I found there was a lot of missing out there. I think there was a lot of people out there that kind of thought that that property development, in a sense, is just one, just buying something and then here's the plans, and then this is what you go ahead and then you sell it. But I found that people were missing things, which is why I felt encouraged to teach people more, especially with the sales side, right? That's where I see the most lacking, where people can show you kind of what to build and show you the preferences of how it goes on and the type of forms and contracts and that. But when it comes to selling, I think that's the biggest deficiency in the market, that people forget to teach people how to sell. And I've always tried to impart to my students that, hey, I want to teach you the whole lot there. That's important selling, isn't it? About picking agents and how to sell will make a lot of difference to the price. Would you agree? What can you share with us on that?
Yeah. So it's learning process from A to Z, basically the whole process, and choosing the right agent. And obviously, when you first started, you do your proven track record. You look around, you look at what agents are selling and what agents are not selling. You buy from the agent that are not selling, so they can help you.
Yes.
I'm happy to doesn't get the deal over and done with, which is how I bought from this property, and then you sell it through a really good agent that you try not to buy from, because they are really good. And even when you go open houses, you can see the good agent and the bad ones. The good ones will be the one, once you left, they'll ask you where you're coming from, everything, and then when you leave, they'll call you, they'll send emails. I'm like, whoa, that's a good agent. And you see on there how much they sold this, they sold that. I'm like, that has been on the market like pretty fast, and they sold them. Whoa, okay, that's good. But the bad agents are the one that, yeah, you can see the energy, the low. They're like, oh yeah, I've been here for 20, 30 years. I can sell it. And then they don't care. They okay, here's an offer, you want it or not. Like, there's no energy, and you know that if you sell through them, they'll be doing the same thing to your clients coming to buy it. So something that, yeah, is really good. That's one of the example where look at an agent, proven comparables and proven track record.
There's as much of a process to selling stuff as there is to buying stuff, right?
Yes, a lot.
Put on equal importance. Yeah. And I must say that Amy, who's the second half of our Think Property Club, has been great doing that. The way that she's able to take that serious enough and to be able to present things in a certain way and spend a bit of money on marketing really taught me when I first started out that the key points to the sales platform is by not just throwing money away, but kind of seeing, okay, I do have to spend money to sell this thing, and working out that process, right? And social media comes a lot into it as well. And so I'm trying to show my students that you just can't just pick anyone. Again, you've got to go with the right people, but it is definitely something that you have to do these days. You can't miss out the social media platform, and it can almost be a savior if you're not selling, right?
Yes. So some some younger ones or some more like the no technology, they will, first thing they do was, on this day, Thursday is the day that a lot of people come look. At this very time, I'll launch it. And I'll launch this on this website, and then I'll put all my details on it in the video and link back to me, and then they'll tell you detail what's going on, and they'll give you a time frame, where's it going from. So it was very handy. We're getting views, comment was coming in, so you'll see what's going on. So yeah, social media is really big right now, especially now with the isolation. So.
Yeah, isn't it amazing? Yeah. How have you found this process? Like, when I thought about where I am right now in this isolation process that we're going through at the moment, which is, I still can't believe it. Like, I still go, well, my day hasn't actually changed that much, to be honest, because I wasn't traveling to work. One thing I found really interesting is that I don't have a business. I don't have a premises, and I'm not running a business. So I'm not affected by that. But people who do have a business, I can understand, even though I can't 100% understand because I don't have that shop. I don't have that factory. I don't have that. I make my money differently, right? Obviously things have changed. We've had to manage and move around, but I'm actually selling during this period.
Yes.
Because one side of the world, the dollar's gone up. And so those people that are using the US dollar are actually getting a better price right now. and some people are selling out of shares and then moving into this, or some people are looking at this opportunity right now to buy something because they're saying, hey, I'm already approved. I should buy something now because when this finishes, I'll have more people out there competing with me, more than the opposite way around, thinking people think, oh, I shouldn't sell now. No, this is when you should sell. There are people out there, and the people out there that are buying now are actually approved.
Yes. Yes.
They're not kicking. They're not tire kicking.
Yes.
They're approved, ready to go. That's what I liked about it, because the agent's like, I actually like this, because normally it would be 10% of people are ready to buy and the rest are just looking.
Yes, they're sticky beak.
Yeah, sticky beak. And now they're ready to do it. So the other thing is, so I was thinking, if I had a normal 9-to-5 job, it would be tough. And I totally understand with it. But I'm just saying, my situation, I don't have a normal 9-to-5 job. So I don't have a job from that sense of view. I use my product to bring me income. I don't have a business, but I have properties, and sure, people could not pay the rent for a while, and there's be eviction things, or you have to loosen it down, or the rent or whatever. That's a very short term thing for me, and I will still have the rents coming. Like, none of my properties have been affected like that, and I've got quite a few properties, and there's probably a longer story to that, but it's a strange feeling that everyone else is kind of freaking out, and you're like, hang on, property's kind of corona safe in a way, because by doing this, sure, there'll be a halt and I'll have to kind of slow down a little bit here and just assess the market, but you don't have a business and you don't have a job. Does that feel weird to you?
Yeah. So something you mentioned as well, like it's probably more of a long term. It's not something that you do, a few weeks. It's a long term. So you're building, it takes long. So by the time this thing all goes, it's different part of the market already. Yeah, so like in 1 or 2 years' time, all different parts of the market already. So it's your pricing, everyone will be back on already. So that's something that I learned, because this deal took a little bit longer, but I went through different stage of the cycle. Oh, everyone's buying, and then APRA came in. Oh, it tightened the thing. Oh, market's back up again. Yeah, everyone's buying again. And then, coronavirus. I'm like, well, but you start to learn and you adapt to it, and your mental skills become really strong, because you're like, yeah, if this comes in, I'll do this. If this something, I'll do this. This ABC outcome, then especially you sleep well at night, because you're like, okay, it doesn't work well, I have this plan, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you're like, okay, I'm safe. So yeah, something that's really good.
Yeah, it gives you a bit more confidence, especially, and you kind of look back at it now and I go, geez, if I was in my old job, I don't know, I would definitely not have any work. I would definitely have struggles. I definitely have worries about bills. But because I made this decision before, 10 years ago or 12 years ago, to get into this, hey, it's benefiting me now. It's almost been that safety net that has made me. Now, why am I in this position? It's just because I made one simple decision to say, hey, I'm going to give this a go. And you know what? I didn't even think about it for too long when it was presented to me. I was like, sure, there's a cost to this, but hey, if I went to university, there's a cost as well to any type of education that you do. But the benefits of it, just so much above the cost that you'd actually have to get to educate yourself, right?
Yeah, definitely. And then because if I was working in corporate job, it will be stressful. Do I still have a job tomorrow? How's the business going, which is not in your control? Like the whole company's going good or bad, you'll be worried if they go losing money. You're like, oh, am my job still on the line? What's going on? If you have family, that's so stressful. I'm going to provide. So yeah, doing properties, even just doing on the side initially, it helps you. So you know that there's a backup behind. There's a lot of money coming in, or there's something to give you more comfort, that, yeah, so that you don't have the anxiety coming in.
And you know what's funny about this one here? You've actually got a backyard at the back there, a bit of grass. So it doesn't have to be a heap because it's fine there. It's on ground level there. If I was in that right now, I'd prefer to be in that instead of in a unit.
Yes, there's land there.
So this is where I think I'm going to see a bit of change from people's attitude now to going, hey, I don't want to be in my unit anymore, because that was a bit tough because I couldn't kind of go out and I kind of felt guilty about going out and that. But now I want to downsize to a townhouse. So I've suddenly seen a big uplift in townhouse inquiries. And it's from people wanting to get out of their units now, because even though this probably won't happen again, or who knows, but people are spending a lot of time in their house at the moment, and they're going, actually, I need to be more on ground level again, or I need that backyard, or I need that, so there's going to be a lot of difference come out of this experience, right?
Yeah, so yeah, I always find townhouse really good. There's always land. There's land there, so people feel good that I'm actually have my own. I know sometimes it could be strided or could be torrent, but and that you have your own land. Your house is on the land. That's yours, and
Yeah.
people feel comfortable with that. That I have a piece of land myself. Yeah, and then it's always so it's just grass behind. It's green. They can plant their things. So it's something that people really love and more look preferred in that
Mm.
in the sense of buying. If that the price of apartments and townhouse sometimes not that much different in some areas, and then you see it, and then it's like people always go townhouse, always.
And I'm seeing I'm seeing a lot of comments on social media. I wish I had a townhouse instead of a unit right at the moment.
Yes, yes,
It's funny. I'm thinking, wow, this is, I've got to pay attention here. The other thing, strangely, is I don't have a big acreage block of land or a big farm or something like that. But if I had one right now, I'd feel pretty good. Like I'd be there tomorrow. So I think there's going to be a lot of the rural areas probably going to get hit with a lot of sales, right?
yes. Developers asking.
So it's funny, like I'm thinking now, I actually want to go, spend about probably 300,000-400,000, just go buy a little cottage on a big block of land or something. That would be pretty cool at the moment. Did I need it before? No, but now it's that life change, that thinking, So Jeelen, if you had a place now, a little cottage, a big block of land there, you still had Wi-Fi because we need
Wi-Fi is very important.
we need the Wi-Fi. But then, and then I had a little scooter or motorbike thing that I could go along on, and like I'd be totally into that at the moment, right?
Yeah, especially with isolation. So
Yeah.
good.
But even afterwards, we're kind of seeing, hey, what are the things that are important to us in life? This has been a big thing for me, reconnecting with my family. I think for you also, right?
Yeah, connecting with family is really, really big, and especially with all the isolation. Some of us still have to go work at home, but they're at home, but they're not really at home because they still need to work at home.
Yeah.
But I have time, so I can go for walks during 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Do you take your phone and sit on your phone the whole time while you're walking?
No, I can freely do it because there. It's
I
my
used
own
to do
business.
that though. I used to go walk around the block with my mobile phone.
You're not present there. You're still working. You're not present with your family. Yeah.
I know. And now I'm not. I'm like, you see people, the strangest thing is you'll drive past and you'll see people walking without the mobile phone in their hand.
Yes, yes,
Where it used
yes.
to be the common thing. So that's pretty crazy. All right. We better wrap it up here. Thank you very much for sharing your experience and showing us your deals and what you're doing. Obviously, next will be probably something pretty similar to this, right?
Yes, yes, definitely. Looking at the different developments, some have like 2 lots duplexes, similar thing around the area. Yeah, so it's just the same thing, just repeating the process again.
Yeah, good. Well, congratulations, man. And congratulations on your new family.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you for opportunity. Thank you for letting me share.
And
Very
I see a
grateful.
vision board behind there. I have to do a new one because mine's run out now. I've kind of got everything done on my vision board. What is the most important thing on that vision board behind you, or in your vision that you think is another goal that you'd like to get to?
The goal is, I made the main thing from this actually the family time. I view that very highly now over work by far. Building up my business, getting on the go, and being able to help others. After you develop for a while, you start knowing that it's for us it's a business, it's a normal business, day-to-day business. But seeing other people smile, because we all been through that. The time we have no money, the stress is so stressful. I can't imagine how many people going so stressful now. It's that feeling of being anxiety in the morning. Yeah, it's draining. So
And I've had my builder say to me, just ring me up out of the blue and just say thank you.
mm,
And I was like, oh, what happened here? He wasn't quite. He said, thank you, because without you guys, you've just signed a new contract for me to build. You've got me building here at the moment. Our whole team's going ahead. And I don't know where I'd be without people like you that keep doing developments to employ us. And you've just told us that we've got work right through the next 2 years. So just wanted to say thanks, And I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that point of view.
mm.
But that's good to know.
And also a little red one up there. That's all the little rewards that we get, like the stickers, that recognition that someone got through. So yeah, we still sticker rewarding ourselves. Yeah, something that I love doing with my wife.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, thank you very much. If you want to get in contact with Jeelen and that, you can PM me or you'll find him through the Facebook circles and that. I'm pretty sure that Jeelen has kind of got a very good structure now. He knows how to do this stuff. He knows how to spot it. He knows how to build it. He knows how to get a development application, knows how to pick the right person, knows what to build, what to sell, and that. So you're going to be a very good partner for other people out there as well. So there's opportunities to kind of mix with someone like Jeelen and do stuff with him also. So I'm sure when you're ready to launch that out to public, you'll let them know, right?
Definitely. When I'm ready, I'll let everyone know. And hopefully I can help you guys out.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Bye.
Bye.